Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and welcome to our episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question for today is, now that you've had a chance to play with the new operators from the Blood Orchid DLC, what are your thoughts on them? Now that is a broad question, but if I had to start off, I would say that Lesion and Ella are both going to be phenomenal and change the way that we play the game. They honestly are so good that I think that certain objectives will be more viable because of them. You don't want to be on the outside of the building or have your objective near a garage door, for example, because these two operators aren't as effective. If you're able to pick an objective that normally you wouldn't select before because it wasn't optimal, now it actually might be more appealing because if the enemy has to make their way into the building a bit further, that's more opportunities for them to activate your traps and hopefully for you to be able to take them down. As for Ying and the attacking side, while I really like her gadget and her weapons feel a bit more inconsistent. The reason why I say this is that Ying, of course, is supposed to flash the objective, charge on in, and take everyone down that's flashed and disoriented. Her weapons don't seem to complement that very well. Her light machine gun, for example, has a lot of recoil, a very slow rounds per minute, and doesn't hit very hard. The one good thing about it, though, is that it has a blazing fast reload time, so you're never left vulnerable reloading. That's an amazing aspect, and it has a lot of ammo. But those things don't really matter if you're not able to dish out the damage. Now, admittedly, this was probably done on purpose because Ubisoft doesn't want to have an operator that can just flash the entire objective room, charge on in while everyone's disoriented, not be affected by their own flash effect, and then just mop everyone up with this awesome weapon. I fully understand that, but it also just seems counterintuitive for the gadget that she has. Now, as for Ella, she is incredible. I thought that she might be a little lackluster because I thought, oh, if it's just an echo effect on the enemy, who cares? It only lasts 5 seconds. That's not going to be all that big of a deal. It's a pretty big deal. If you're able to slow down the enemy's progress, which is going to be enhanced by Lesion, he kind of slows things down significantly. If the enemy has to rush onto the point with only like 20 seconds left and her Grismot mines are just popping off all over the place, the enemy is not winning that round. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to rush at the very end because her gadget is that potent. What I did not realize is that when the Grismot mine goes off, not only does it disorient you, making it difficult for you just to know what's happening around you inside of the room, but it also slows down your aiming and your movements. Even if you do see the Ella in the left-hand corner, it's going to take you longer to get your sight on target to take her down. In a game like Rainbow Six Siege, where firefights end in a split second, that's plenty of time for Ella to take you down, no problem whatsoever. On top of that, and I think one of the main reasons why Ella is going to be really powerful, is that unless you have a Thatcher or a Twitch, there's not a lot of ways to deal and take care of her gadgets. If she places in the right spot, you're basically out of luck. Unless you have those two gadgets at your disposal, you have to get that through that doorway eventually. If you don't have line of sight on the gadget, you can't shoot at it. You have to charge on through at some point to get on the objective, and that's when they swoop on in and take you down. She's going to be tough. I think she's probably going to change the meta the most. People are going to really have to adapt their strategy. And I know that IQ might be able to get into the mix, but IQ is even going to struggle because there's a lot of doorways that are indestructible. Yeah, you might know that the Grismot mine is there, but you can't do anything about it because you can't use your pistol to shoot through that indestructible wall. And so I'm really curious to see how things are going to pan out into the future. Out of all three, I truly do believe that she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Now, as for Lesion, he's also fantastic, but his gadget seemed a bit more manageable when you were on the receiving end of it. It's still very powerful, and one tactic that I was really having fun with was I wasn't necessarily putting these around the objective. I was going on one side of the map, placing them in every single doorway to basically be an early alarm system. If I know the enemy is going to be trying to open up hatches because we're in the basements, I'm just going to scatter these around the room that I'm defending in and wait for the enemy to come to me. As soon as they activate, I know exactly where they're located, and then I can hopefully swoop on in and take them down based off of that information. One thing that is worth noting, though, is that because his gadget recharges slowly, you're only able to get 2 of them down before the round begins. And so if you want to get the most out of this guy, you need to take things slower. You can play aggressive, but just know if you get taken out, you're not really getting the most out of your gadgets. And so all in all, I think Lesion is a really good operator. I mean, of course, only time will tell. I was only able to play with him for a couple of days, but I think his gadget is really strong. His weapon weapon is really also fun to use, and I think he's also going to be a really cool addition into the game. The next question is, did you see that Ubisoft will be adding the new theme park map back into ranked in Rainbow Six Siege? Yeah, I also saw this, and it's fantastic news because it looks like Ubisoft is actually listening to the player base on this one. So if you're not caught up on recent events, basically with this upcoming season, Ubisoft wasn't going to have the new theme park map in ranked. The only way that you're going to be able to have access to that new content, the content that everyone has been waiting for other than the operators, was to play casual or customs. And so if you are someone who plays ranked exclusively, you are pretty much out of luck. Ubisoft was basically saying, doesn't matter, you have to play casual, a mode that you don't enjoy, if you want to experience or just simply learn that new map for the next season after that if they ever do introduce this map into the competitive rotation. Thankfully, Ubisoft saw this criticism. They even mentioned in the little article, hey, give us our feedback, but I wasn't expecting them to actually do anything with that feedback, and they actually changed their policy. Another exciting announcement is that Ubisoft has also listened to the community with regard to the casual matchmaking system. So if you're not aware, this last Operation Health season, if you played casual, it was matching you against people that had a similar ranked in ranked. And so if you were diamond or platinum, it was going to find people that were also diamond or platinum for you to fight against. Now, this also caused a bit of a controversy in the community because if you were someone who just wanted to mess around with friends, maybe you want to try out some new strategies, try out some operators that you're not really comfortable with, you might be out of luck because the enemy may not have that same mentality. They may be trying just as hard if they were playing ranked, and so if you did try these other strategies, you're gonna get absolutely destroyed by them. And so the casual nature of casual was kind of ruined because of that. On the other side of the coin though, if you're diamond and you're playing as Tachanka, yeah, that may not be the optimal pick on most maps, even though you are messing around. If you're getting paired with people that are brand new to the game, you're going to absolutely destroy them. And so for people that were brand new, that also wasn't a fair system to pair them against you. And so the reason why I'm excited about this announcement is that Ubisoft is adding in a new matchmaking rating that is independent of ranked. And so if you're gold in ranks, but you mess around in casual a lot, you lose a lot of rounds because you're messing around, well, you might be paired more in a silver category. You might be in the silver tier. If you're someone who wants to try hard a lot in casual, you want to do really well, well, you might be kind of in the diamond category, even if you don't play ranked whatsoever. And so the reason why this is great news is that it will hopefully solve a lot of the problems that we just talked about. If you're brand new to the game, you're going to have a low matchmaking rating and hopefully fight against people that are also brand new. If you're someone that actually takes casual casually, then hopefully you're also fighting against people that have that same mentality. And so just in general, I think it's fantastic that Ubisoft has listened to the community on these two issues. They didn't need to do anything. They could have just said, no, the excuse that we gave was valid for why we didn't add the theme park map into ranked, and we would just have to deal with it. But they didn't. They took our criticism to heart, they made some adjustments, and I think what they did, especially for the casual matchmaking system, is going to be a great thing for Rainbow Six Siege. The next question comes from Jalen, and it is, with the new trap meta, I feel like Kapkan is a bit too weak, and his traps are easy to see. With the new lighting changes on the patch, it will be even easier. Do you think that he needs an upgrade? Well, I will agree with you that Kapkan could probably use some loving in the future, but I don't think that needs to be in the form of changing his traps because admittedly, I think that Kapkan and both Frost are going to become much more viable with this upcoming patch. One change that I'm not really a fan of is that the only way for you to identify enemy players is to scan them now. If you're a drone or if you stare at a player, you're not going to be able to identify them and get that information at the top of your screen. And so let's say you're playing with a bunch of random players, they don't talk over their microphone, and you don't know that the enemy has a Kapkan or a Frost and no one is scanning, all the drones got taken out. Well, you'll never probably know that the enemy has a Kapkan or a Frost unless you see their gadget on the ground and you get lucky. I've already noticed that when I was playing on the technical test servers, that even when I was communicating with teammates, because I didn't have that information at the top of my screen, which I could quickly glance at and know that there was a Frost, I was getting trapped a lot more frequently. Now, I don't know if this was Ubisoft's indirect way to try to buff these guys, but if you're someone that relies on stealth and not allowing the enemy to know what to look out for, like Cav, Kapkan, and Frost, for example, this patch actually might have a significant change on the way that we play the game and make these operators just simply more effective. And so I'm gonna go with a wait and see on this one if Kapkan needs an upgrade. I know that some people might just say that why don't you just scan with your drones, or why don't you just make callouts, but some people don't make callouts, and sometimes you're just not able to get the scan off against the enemy. All I can base it off is my personal experience, and all I can say is that when I was playing on the TTS, I was falling for these traps a lot more frequently because I just didn't have that information at my fingertips. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Are you excited about the new casual matchmaking rating? Do you prefer the old system? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you would like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.